How's it going, everybody? Josh here, and welcome to my first Pokemon Challenge video on the channel. I'm super excited to be starting this, and I hope you all enjoy. One little thing before I start, you will see me struggle to name my Pokemon in the beginning, and that's because my emulator is forever sped up. Fantastic. Anyway, for my first challenge, I wanted to use a very well-known Pokemon in a game that would be sort of challenging and fun at the same time. So, I decided to use everybody's favorite Pikachu versus Pokemon Fire Red. Looking at Pikachu's stats, it's very similar to the starter trio of this generation, just worse. Its best stat is its speed stat with a base 90, and I'm really hoping for a special attack boosting nature because electric is all special in this generation. Now, for everybody's favorite segment, the rules. Rule number 1, I'll only be allowed to use Pikachu in battle. Rule number 2, HM Pokemon will be allowed. And rule number 3, no items in battle. Now, with that out of the way, let's get started on the run. Using the Universal Pokemon Randomizer, I decided to swap out Squirtle for Pikachu. I did this so that our rival will have Venusaur in the champion fight, which will be the toughest for us to defeat. Will it be a mistake? I don't know. If it is, cool. It'll just make me stress even more about getting this out on time. I know I don't show it here, and I don't know if I show it in any of the other stats parts that I do, but Pikachu does have a naughty nature that will raise its attack and lower its special defense. That definitely kind of helps a little bit with the first gym because our move pool for that is going to be very, very limited. As you see here, I decide to name my Pikachu Chew. I couldn't really think of anything else to name it at that moment in time. However, we do get into our first Pokemon battle right away against our rival. As you see here, we deal very little damage because electric is not very effective against grass. We get saved by static, and that's going to be a run-saving ability. As you can see here, in our next rival fight on Route 22, it pretty much goes the same exact way, except this time I'm level 10 and I know Thunder Wave, so paralyzing once again will save the day. I'm going to talk about the Rock Gym just a little bit before I actually get there. Brock has an Onix and a Geodude. Geodude is my worst nightmare in this run. Because of its typing and because of its super high defense stat, it just is a nightmare to take out, especially the first trainer in Brock's gym. He has a Geodude level 10. I decide to go in there straight out of Viridian Forest level 13. I decide to try to lower its defense with Tail Whips, but it just keeps raising it back with Defense Curl. Now, normally this wouldn't be an issue, but my only attacking move that I can use on it is Quick Attack, which is a priority move and it only deals 40 damage. It's also a normal type move, meaning it's not very effective against Geodude, which takes us out even though it's 3 levels lower than us. So I decided to grind a little bit in the forest and teach Pikachu Double Team. Double Team will raise evasiveness stat by 1 stage, and it is a run saver. This move will definitely save us later in the run. So I eventually beat his Geodude, and I beat his Sandshrew, which you don't see on camera. But after that, I go heal, and I go straight to Brock, because why not? He also starts out with a Geodude, which sucks, so I decide to spam some double teams as he decides to raise his defense with Defense Curl. Our only attacking move is still Quick Attack, and as you can see, it deals a sliver, a very, very sliver of damage. Crits always help because they bypass stat changes, and that's what we're going to be relying on in this gym especially. We do eventually take out Geodude in our first attempt just because of the double teams helping us dodge almost every single attack that he has. But then he brings out his Onix, which is another nightmare of a Pokemon to face. Again, it's a rock and ground type, so I can't use my electric moves on it. So I'm forced to stick with Quick Attack, which has a lot of PP, but as you can see, I have 5 left when I go to face Onix, as it just takes me out with a single Rock Tomb. I guess it's time to go grind. Anyway, grinding for Reinforce sucks. What makes it even worse is I can't go to the route beyond because there are a bunch of trainers there who have Pokemon that are similar level to Pikachu, and that would make grinding a whole lot easier. So at level 20, Pikachu wants to learn Slam, which I do teach it to, and I get rid of Quick Attack. Slam is 80 power, so double the power of Quick Attack, but however, it has a 75 accuracy, which is not helpful at all. Our stats still suck, speed's fine, but everything else is just bad. Anyway, I go to challenge Brock right after I learn Slam, and you can already see the difference that it does. I start off by setting up some double teams in this one, and then I go straight for Slam. It does like double the damage of Quick Attack, but it also misses a lot. 25% accuracy drop may not seem like all that much, but believe me, it is. And the crits do a ton, which is why I taught Pikachu Slam. It also shows a little bit of improvement when I take on Onix, as we're actually able to deal some decent damage, except the Rock Tombs just take us out quickly. We do get Onix down to half health though in this fight, which gave me a little bit of hope. I do fall to Onix eventually, and my thought process is, hey, I may just need a level or two. So I go back at level 22, and that's exactly what happened. He starts off by sending out his Geodude, and I start off by spamming Double Team. And like I said before, Double Team is a run-saving move. Static also really helped a lot because I can't paralyze them with Thunder Wave to make them mobile for a turn. I got really lucky and have my second Slam be a crit against Geodude, and out comes Onix that I just spam Slam on because I have my double teams up. I get another crit, which is very, very helpful. I'm already regretting Slam a little bit just because of the accuracy, but I needed the power. Because Quick Attack was not going to do it for me. I do eventually finish off Onix with Slam, and I defeat Brock at level 22. After going through route outside of Pewter and Mount Moon, I went straight to fight Misty in the Water Gym, which is a cakewalk. I took out Starmie and Staryu with 3 Thunder Shocks total, and that'll earn me the gym badge. After this, I went straight for the rival fight and forgot to record. But I also learned Thunderbolt, so again, sorry about not recording the rival fight. However, I did get everybody's favorite character, Bill, as a fairy. I got the SSN ticket from him and went straight for that rival fight, but looky me, I forgot to record that too. Definitely next time I'll be sure to record those 2 rival fights when I go through, but I went straight then for LT Surge. His team is all electric type, so I can't really rely on Thunderbolt. This first attempt really showed me how unlucky I can be in these, as he hit 2 Sonic Booms after I used 2 double teams, which really kind of ended the fight, as I just started out at 15 HP fighting the Pikachu and it took me down to 10. So 1 Quick Attack from Raichu took me out. After beating all the trainers on Route 11, I went back and I'm now level 35, which is going to help a lot more in being able to take damage. This time he didn't use Sonic Boom as much with Voltorb, which really helped. I did spam a ton of double team to be able to dodge it, and then 2 slams was able to take out the Voltorb. I don't know why I go into my Pokemon menu, but that's my cut meow. Anyway, One slam takes out the Pikachu, and out comes Raichu. I decide to start off by using a Thunder Wave, but he uses a full heal and I miss a slam. Next, however, I do hit a slam as it paralyzes me and hits me with a shockwave, but one more slam takes it out, and I'm able to beat LT Surge on my second try. Rock Tunnel is a big struggle. With all of the hikers using their rock and ground types, I can't use my Thunderbolts to be able to help, so I had to use Dig. The thing that sucks about Dig, besides it just being a 2-turn move, is that it can get hit when I'm underground. At level 41, Pikachu wanted to learn Thunder. I decided not to teach Pikachu Thunder. While Thunderbolt is 35 power less, that 75% accuracy of Thunder did not suit what I wanted to do. However, I went straight for Erica and started off fighting her Victory Bell. I decided to spam double teams and dodged every single stun spore it tried to use on me and took it out with 2 slams. Out came Tangela next, and Tangela actually surprised me. I didn't realize its defense was really high, but it was, so I hit it with 2 slams, didn't quite take it out. Erica healed it with a Hyper Potion. I used Thunderbolt, and its special defense stat I learned just then was trash, so 2 Thunderbolts were able to take it out then. And out came her Vileplume, which I hit with some slams and a Thunderbolt, which crit, and that was the 4th gym badge. So I know that in the Giovanni fight, he has 2 rock types and a Kangaskhan, which I guess frightened me a little bit. So I decided to teach Pikachu Brick Break over Slam for the accuracy, and it only deals 5 power less, which is really going to help me. So went straight for Giovanni. This fight with Brick Break was very helpful. First out came Onyx, and I killed it with 2 Brick Breaks. The next came Rhyhorn, which I also took out in 2 Brick Breaks. And last but certainly not least was Kangaskhan, who was the most threatening to me, as it hit me with a Fake Out. I hit a Brick Break and it just used Tail Whip, so I decided to take it out with a Thunderbolt. And that was Game Corner Team Rocket. I also forgot to record the first part of the rival fight in the Pokemon Tower. But as you saw, I took out Gyarados, Pidgeotto the same way I took out Gyarados, and the same way I took out Growlithe and Kadabra. Last was his Ivysaur, which I just spammed Thunderbolt, and I took it out very easily. This middle part of the game is extremely easy, and I thought it was going to get worse as soon as I went to fight this gym leader, Koga. Koga likes to do a lot of poison fun, so this I thought was going to be a struggle, but it wasn't, as I crit his first Coughing with a Thunderbolt. I decided to use Double Team on his Mach, and I just spammed Thunderbolt, and he missed his Toxic. Next came Coughing, which I Thunderbolted again, and last but certainly not least was Wheezing, which I decided to use one more Double Team, and it missed Toxic. I hit it with 1 Thunderbolt, it hit me with a Sludge, and I hit it with a Thunderbolt to take it out. Like I said, I was really hoping it was going to get hard here, but it didn't, and it got hard as soon as I went to Silphco. As you can see, I didn't heal up at all before my rival fight here, which might be the reason I lost. I don't think it is, but as you can see, I took out Pidgeot and Gyarados with 1 Thunderbolt. I did the same thing to his Growlithe, except I used Dig first, which dealt almost all damage, and it burned me with a Flame Wheel, which I decided then to take it out with a Thunderbolt. Next was his Alakazam, which went down to 2 Thunderbolts, but the burn was just too much for me to handle, and I tried to use Dig on Venusaur, but died underground due to burn. This fight was actually the hardest fight up until this point. Yeah, it was harder than Brock, just because his Pokemon deal a lot more damage to mine. So I had to try this fight over and over again, but this time was the time that I beat it. As you saw, I took out Pidgeot and Gyarados with Thunderbolt each. I also decided to not use Dig and take out Growlithe with the Thunderbolt. Next came Alakazam, who I one-shot with Thunderbolt, and last came out Venusaur. I decided to start using double teams on Venusaur and decided to see how much damage Dig dealt, and that was the wrong choice. It did hit me with a Poison Powder, which sucked, but I was going to be fine. I hit it with another Thunderbolt to bring it to a sliver, as it brought me down to 11 HP. I took it out with one more Thunderbolt, ending the battle and letting me go fight Giovanni. So I healed up, and that's exactly what I did. I went to go fight Giovanni. This fight was actually harder than I thought it was going to be. I decided to start off with Dig on his Nidorino, which, yeah, I took it out, but I got hit by its Poison Point, which poisoned me for the rest of the battle. Because Nidoqueen is a ground type, I had to do the same thing with Nidoqueen, and just because Dig is a 2-turn move, I get hit for an extra turn of poison every single time I go underground. And that's pretty much what ended it. I took out Kangaskhan, went down to 10, didn't crit the Rhyhorn, and got taken out by Rock Blast. My second attempt with Giovanni was much better than my first, because I didn't make the silly mistake of using Dig on Nidorino when I could just use Thunderbolt. And that's exactly what I did. I took it out in one shot with the Thunderbolt and didn't get poisoned yet. Nidoqueen came in next, and it being a ground type, I decided to use a double team or two to be able to dodge any ground type moves it may have. Then I just went for Dig and hoped for the best. I did hit it with Dig, and I did get hit by Poison Point, but it kept missing its attacks, so I took it out in another Dig. I'm already at half health, and it's not looking too good for me. I did take out Kangaskhan in 2 Brick Breaks as it missed a Mega Punch, and that's pretty much what sealed the deal. I did hit Brick Break on the Rhyhorn, as it did hit me with a Scary Face, but I went down to 14 health because of poison, and I took out Rhyhorn, and that saved Silphco. On to Sabrina. I thought this fight was going to be a lot harder than it was, but it turns out that it wasn't. I took out Kadabra in 1 Thunderbolt. I also took out Mr. Mime pretty easily, as Sabrina kept healing it. It did put up a barrier, which didn't do anything because I wasn't going to use a physical move. So then I almost took out Venomoth, and this fight became scary as soon as it used Supersonic and confused me. I was nervous because if I got hit by Alakazam more than once, I was going to be doomed, but I snapped out right in time. Alakazam took me down to 15 HP with a Psychic, but I ended it with a Thunderbolt. After that, I went straight to Blaine. Probably the easiest fight besides Misty in the entire game for me. I just went straight through his team with Thunderbolt, except for Rapidash, which I decided to try Dig, because I felt it would do more damage, but it didn't. It just missed 2 Fire Blasts. But after this fight was where the run got extremely challenging. After critting his Arcanine with Thunderbolt, I went to do all the island shenanigans and came back to fight the 8th gym leader, who I have no idea who it is. What? It's Giovanni? Wow, I didn't know that. Up until this point, I hadn't really had a challenge besides Brock and the Silphco rival fight, but this proved to be a huge challenge. I started the fight at level 66, and I figured that I wasn't going to win on my first try. And also, after seeing Dugtrio deal half of my health with just a single Earthquake, it was not going to be an easy fight, as I went down to Nidoqueen's Earthquake. So I tried many times. The thing that I couldn't figure out was how many double teams to do, because if Rhyhorn just kept spamming Scary Face like it did, I would be slower than Dugtrio, slower than Nidoqueen, slower than his Nidoking. But the time that I actually won the battle, I forgot to start recording until after I beat his Nidoking. But I did end up recording the last part of that, if you didn't pay attention there, I did end up teaching Pikachu Return, which is 102 base power because I'm assuming we have max friendship because it's the only Pokemon I've used this entire time. I also trained up to level 80 to be able to do this fight. This fight was another challenging fight just because of the bulk of Venusaur. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do this on my first try, which, yeah, I wish I could have, but I had to grind just a little bit to be able to take out the Venusaur. I had to grind out attempts and I had to figure out where to place my double teams. I didn't want to try to do it on his Rhyhorn because of Scary Face and then I wouldn't be fast enough, but it is what it is. I did eventually figure it out. It wasn't my second challenge, or I guess time challenging him, but that's the time I'm going to show. Just kidding, it's the third. Like I said before, I did find the TM for Return and just walking around trying to find trainers to fight. And Return is a much better move for me than Dig, and Dig and Brick Break were in my move pool just for the same reason of dealing with the rock types. I just think Brick Break is better, and that's why I took out Dig for Return. I had to try this fight over and over and over again just because there weren't many trainers for me to fight. I could do a strategy what a lot of people do and just grind on the cycling road with those 5 trainers just up in the beginning. I just didn't go get the bike and I didn't feel like it, so I just tried this fight over and over again to try and limit grinding. But the third attempt was the attempt that I won with. So he starts out with Pidgeot, I start out with Pikachu, I take it out with a Thunderbolt as it hits a quick attack. Next comes out Rhyhorn, who I just start using Brick Break on, and I almost take it out, but it almost takes itself out with Takedown, and I have to use one more Brick Break. Next is Gyarados, who I one-shot with Thunderbolt to take it out. Next comes Growlithe, and I decide to start using my double teams a little bit on Growlithe because it keeps using Agility. Flame Wheel hurts a little bit, but doesn't do that much. I keep going with my double teams as he keeps going with its Agility, hits me with one more Flame Wheel, and I take it out with Thunderbolt. Next is Alakazam, who just uses Calm Mind, and I take it out with 2 Thunderbolts. Last but not least is Venusaur. I just decided to start using Thunderbolt, and I got a crit on my first one, which really helped. I got another one and took it out, and that was the fight. These are our stats right before I go to Challenge the Elite 4 at level 85. Speed at 220 is fantastic, but other than that... So I go to fight Lorelei, and the fight actually goes well, but I didn't win. I decided to test how much damage Brick Break would do, which was a very large mistake because with Thunderbolt, I probably could have taken out Dugong in one shot. I just wanted to conserve Thunderbolts. I know Cloyster has terrible special defense, but it kept using Protect before I could get a Thunderbolt out, which sucks. I then one-shot Slowbro with Thunderbolt, and out comes Lapras, who I do not one-shot with Thunderbolt. It hits me with an Ice Beam, and she heals. I take it out in one Brick Break and a Thunderbolt. Last but certainly not least is Jinx, who's the only Pokemon who's not weak to Thunderbolt. I do over half health, but it takes me out with one Ice Punch. I go right back and fight Lorelei again, this time not using Brick Break on Dugong and just taking out with a Thunderbolt. I decide to bait the Protect and use Double Team, which works. I thought it was going to go for it again, but it didn't, and it used Spikes, which were useless. It uses Protect on its third turn though, which I use Thunderbolt, and it fails the fourth, so I take it out with Thunderbolt. Out comes Slowbro, and I one-shot it again with Thunderbolt, taking it out. Next comes Lapras, who tanks a Thunderbolt, just barely, freezes me, heals with a Citrus Berry, gets healed by a full restore. Luckily, I defrost on the first turn, and I hit it again with Thunderbolt. She heals it up again. I hit it really hard with a Brick Break and just decide to use Brick Break again to take it out. Last but certainly not least is Jinx, I hit Jinx with a Thunderbolt, and I paralyze it right away. It misses a Lovely Kiss, and I take it out with a Thunderbolt. On to Bruno. Bruno is going to be a little tougher than Lorelei just because of his 2 Onyxes. I start out by using Brick Break, and it uses Earthquake and deals almost half of my health. Oh boy. I then crit his second Onyx and take it out. I got extremely lucky in this fight, by the way, with crits. As you saw, I crit Hitmonlee there. Hitmonlee hits me with a Brick Break, and I'm really praying that the champ misses its Cross Chop, which it does, and I'm able to take it out, ending the battle here. So I was a little silly and forgot to heal up my Thunderbolts all the way, and excuse me, she just decided to use that to her advantage. I did not end up beating Agatha my first try. She was tough. Her Gengar hit me with Hypnosis, and I just could not wake up from it, as it just hit me with 2 Sludge Bombs and took me out. My footage got corrupted and didn't let me show you the end fight that I had with Agatha, but I did beat Agatha and went on to Lance. Lance, I also forgot to heal up on my Thunderbolts. So I think I have like 5 left. Oh no, I had none at all. Fantastic. So I just went back and forth with Gyarados, hitting it with Return, which I did lose. This is the fight I'm least excited for, just because Dragon types are strong. So my plan is basically to grind a little bit, and I grinded Pikachu up to level 95 and used 5 rare candies that I had. So these are our stats at level 100. Speed at 259 is great. Attack and special attack are okay at best. Here we go, let's fight Lance. Anyway, like I said, time to fight Lance. I made sure my Thunderbolts were fully stocked this time, and I went straight for the double teams on Gyarados. It hit me with a Dragon Rage or 2, and as soon as it missed a Dragon Rage, I went for the Thunderbolt and I took it out. Next, out came Dragonair, who I hit with a Thunderbolt, but I paralyzed it due to hitting me with Outrage. I then hit its next Dragonair with a Thunderbolt, but it missed Thunder Wave, and I took it out with another Thunderbolt. Dragonite came out, and I was scared, but it left me with 12 HP off a Hyper Beam. I took it out with a Thunderbolt. And last was Aerodactyl, who I one-shot with Thunderbolt due to a crit. Here we go. Champion fight time. And I forgot to heal, as you can see. I forgot to do a lot of things in this run. But that was one of the most silly things I could have done. So with this fight, it was really tough to figure out again where to start spamming the double teams. I couldn't figure out if I should do it at Arcanine, where I was having the most trouble just taking it out, or if I should do it at Pidgeot to start. I tried many times. I think it was like my 29th time was my last time, and I actually won. But I decided to start spamming my double teams on Pidgeot, even though Sand Attack and Feather Dance were going to be problems. I would usually be able to get to Venusaur, and I just could not beat Venusaur because I didn't have my double teams, because it would one-shot me with Solar Beam. But on my last attempt, number 29, I was able to take out champion Gary. Anyway, Gary starts out with his Pidgeot as I start out with my Pikachu. I start spamming double teams as it hits me with a Sand Attack, and that's when I start to get extremely nervous. After the second one, I thought the fight was just over, but out comes Rhydon and I miss Brick Break. This double sand attack which was going to be the end of me, but I actually won this way. Out came Alakazam, and I one-shot it with Return, which I was really lucky to do because it would hit hard with Psychic. Out came Gyarados. I missed my first Thunderbolt, but it only hit a Dragon Rage, so that was fine. I took it out with my next Thunderbolt, and out came Arcanine. I decided to hit Arcanine for Return, just so that it wouldn't heal and I'd have to waste my Thunderbolts, which worked, and it missed a Flamethrower, and I took it out with Thunderbolt. Last was Venusaur. I missed my first Thunderbolt, hit my second, and paralyzed it as it just continued to raise its special attack. It got paralyzed on its third turn, and it got paralyzed on its fourth turn as I kept missing my Thunderbolts. And it missed a Solar Beam, which was fantastic as it brought in Sunlight, and I hit it with a Thunderbolt to take it out, ending the fight and winning me the challenge. For my first challenge video, this was a struggle. As you'll see here, it's gonna say that I have 80 in-game hours when I save. As you can see, 80:03, which I definitely had more just because of that champion fight. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's extremely long, and I know I messed up audio and video recording many times throughout, so I want to apologize for that. My next video, my next Pokemon challenge anyway, I'll be more buttoned up about that sort of stuff and make sure I record everything. For my next challenge, I'm not sure what I want to do yet. I want to do an easier run so I can get it out to you guys faster. I think it's going to be a Girafarig run through Pokemon Emerald. And the reason I want to do Girafarig is because it's a really forgettable Pokemon that has the weird typing of Psychic Normal. And I think it's just going to be fun. My next regular video should actually be coming out sometime this weekend. It's just going to be a look at my Pokemon card collection. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Take care now.